Hi all, welcome back to part 3. So we ended here with white being a pawn up. Black's rook is active on e2. If only black can get both rooks on this 7th rank, this could be really dangerous for munching these pawns and getting to the white king. Anand's not going to let that happen without a fight. Or if it did happen, he'll be able to protect himself. Okay. Topalov's next move, in fact, tries to get both rooks on the 7th rank with rook d6. So both rooks will look formidable. Now, before continuing there, I just want to make a correction from the previous video that I've noticed that move 30, I said about knight e7 winning the exchange. That's nonsense, actually, because all it ends up with is with a slightly favourable position, because white will be losing the exchange there. And this might be a slight advantage for white, say king f1. I just want to make that correction before carrying on. So that was flipping back to move 30. This was also potentially playable, but I think rook b7 was better, not to allow that simplification. Okay, so sorry about that mistake. So move 40 anyway. So Topalov's trying to get both rooks to the 7th rank. Rook d6, and then plays actually rook e4. Okay. Topalov wants to keep the rooks on. He plays rook b2, getting behind that pass pawn as well, making it difficult to push. There's too many distractions here, with this other rook now threatening to come to join in. So rook e1 protects both rooks, enables rook b1 to try and maybe get this pawn up there. Rook dd2 happens, hitting f2 immediately. Now if a move, say rook b1, then I think rook takes f2 here might be possible. So if takes, then black's regains his pawn, potentially with advantage. This bishop's potentially better than the knight, especially because of the weakened king's field now. So Anand actually doesn't allow rook takes f2. He plays knight e4, attacking the rook but defending the pawn. Rook d4 now, and the knight goes back, and the rook goes back, and the knight goes back, and the rook goes now to d3, deviation. Doesn't want to draw just yet. So how does white protect that pawn? Maybe rook f3 is a potential threat. Okay, so rook b1 is played, and it doesn't mind dropping his pawn advantage now. So he's simplifying into rook and knight versus rook and bishop ending after this sequence. So he plays not the immediate rook takes b2, but actually the niftier looking knight d2. So the rook can't take, rook takes rook. So with this move, it's a bit more forcing, maybe trying to get a rook to b8 if black took. Okay, but actually Topalov plays rook b4, b3 to b4. Okay, so f3 now is played. Everything's okay for white here. He's going to get his king to f2 and maybe play rook e2. And he's shielding himself a bit, bringing the king towards the centre. Kind of solid, difficult for Topalov to break through there. Because of the pawn symmetry, the imbalances of pawn structure are minimal. But g5 is played anyway, seemingly aggressive move. Now Anand takes off a pair of rooks and plays rook d1. The purpose of that f3 move has also been revealed in that bishop g4 is not winning a piece now, or anything nasty. Actually, even if f3 hadn't been played, f3 could have been played there safely, so that's no big deal actually. The main point of f3, I think, is just to get the king to f2 and maybe to e3 if needed later. And start protecting the pieces so there's no tactical vulnerabilities. So king f2, h5, now king e3. Okay, I don't think the king's going anywhere exotic. There's nothing to go over here, no exotic locations to start attacking pawns. It's just symmetrical on the king's side, as previously noted. So both sides are now entering into an equilibrium, which they're going to be agreeing a draw very shortly now from this position. Check, Rook c2, and now a repeat. King e3, inviting the repeat. Draw agreed. Okay, one of the longest draws of the match. I expect the longest draw. We can do two quick summaries. What happened in the last 20 moves? Topalov tried to get both rooks to the 7th. Anand sacked the B pawn to get rid of the pressure and further simplification, and now with this f3 and king f2 was creating a sort of solid, impregnable position where the light square bishop doesn't seem to be a major advantage against the knight. So a repetition there. Now let's do a wider overview and summary of the game. So the Catalan system with and then I believe varying from a previous game by playing bishop g5, and this new idea just giving up the dark squared bishop immediately. Now this strange looking queen a4 move inviting b5, but tactically it's not working because of that diagonal, which I suppose intuitively you should expect some tactical implications of this lovely bishop on the diagonal. So knight c6, actually, I think I forgot to mention, it's actually inviting bishop c6 and queen c6, but in that case this diagonal is going to potentially rebound against white's king. White's king will be weaker without this light squared bishop. He doesn't really want the black light squared bishop on it, and you know the black queen coordinating with attacking moves like queen f5 to e4, h3 later. So bishop c6, I don't think this is the hottest idea. Say rook b8 and then bishop b7 to follow. So the knight wasn't taken there, just rook c1 first. Okay, so in this position e5, again offering knight, but this time taken for a different reason, just to take on e5, actually to win this pawn on e5. There's a different incentive behind bishop takes c6. In any case, the queen's protecting there, so black's actually just losing the e5 pawn now instead. So both sides prepared to sacrifice pawns at opportune moments. By the way, here I think I might have said something nonsensical about b takes. I think bishop takes a8 gives white a big material edge. So let's have a look. This does look as though white's just the exchange up. So sorry about that bit of nonsense as well. Bishop h3, there's bishop g2 say, and white seems to be just the exchange up for nothing. So basically Topalov, he didn't have the option of b takes c4, he had to take on c6. So he's losing his e5 pawn. There's a potential for a bishop b7, but now with these simplifications it doesn't really matter. White's king is not such an issue with the queens off. c5 and the pesky knights going in and out of the position is the main feature now of these few moves. And now we see some advantages of these pawns on the queen side, which actually culminates in a pawn sacrifice from Topalov when he now plays b4. He's offering d4 and b4 in order to get the e2 pawn to get a rook on the 7th rank, and then he tries getting his other rook on the 7th rank, and now the pressure balance is restored again by a pawn sacrifice, this time by Anand. So now we're really reaching a simplified position, and both sides are now ready to agree a draw. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.